couple of my colleagues are on the line as well. Rob and Megan, would you like to introduce yourselves? Ladies first, Megan.
Sure, thanks, Kate. My name is Megan LaFour, and I work with Kate and Rob, kind of helping support the comms and readiness that's involved in both the product marketing management side of things that Kate is doing, and then the platform rollouts that Rob is overseeing. So.
Yeah, and hey, Rob Reardon. So I look after the co-sale experience for both partners in Partner Center, as well as our sales team in our CRM system called MSX, in a product planning role.
Perfect. And we will go ahead and get started. So what we want to make sure you take away from this today is we want to make sure that you learn how to fill out the co-sell tab when you're publishing or updating your offer inside Partner Center in the Commercial Marketplace tab, module rather. Then we want to make sure you know how to submit an offer for publication and make sure that it goes live. It's not just sitting there in draft form. And then how to get help and access other resources that you may need along this process. It is important to point out that this deck, which you will get the link to after this session, is a complement to the always on and always updated docs information that lives around publishing. So I encourage you to, while this is a great visual representation and can help tick and tie, that docs will be the most updated as far as the information if something changes within the UI. So let's talk about Commercial Marketplace. I'm going to make an assumption that most of you have been inside Partner Center today, and you will now find publishing under the Commercial Marketplace tab here.
Yeah. Just real quick, I don't know if you're advancing the slide or not, but it's not moving.
Okay, just kidding. Let me reshare. Let's just do it this way. How about that? Do you see something different now?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Perfect. So back to Commercial Marketplace. So within Partner Center, this is where you will find Commercial Marketplace. So it is a tile here on your main sort of screen, if you will, and then it will also be on the left-hand side as sort of a menu option. Now, when you click into Commercial Marketplace, this is sort of the first screen you will see. So within the Overview tab, you will see the offer alias, the offer type, and the offer status. The offer alias, these should hopefully look familiar to you because these would be what your corporation has named them. And the offer type would be something like software as a service. And then you will see the status live, which means it is published and is active today. Then if you want to create a new offer, what you will do is you will simply click create new offer, and then there will be a drop-down menu that you see pointed out here on bullet 2 around different fields that you will have to fill out. Now, depending on the type of offer it is, there are slightly different steps. And again, the documentation within docs under Commercial Marketplace will really walk you through step by step, but there are slight variations depending on the offer type that you are in fact trying to publish. Then, so that's how you create something. Now, if you want to modify something that exists, you would click on the alias as you saw before, and then you would select each tab of information that you want to modify. So if you're trying to modify the availability, you would select that. If you're trying to modify it into being co-sell ready, you would select co-sell with Microsoft as 2 examples. Then if you are trying to get to that co-sell ready status that you may be familiar with, you would fill out the information that's required on the co-sell tab. So you would simply modify it here by clicking on co-sell with Microsoft. And then you would enter the required details. So some are very straightforward. It says, Microsoft Dynamics, for example. So you would select the product that was associated. You would also identify if it was an IP or a service. And then you would drop down into the other solution area. So this gets a little bit more specific. And you can only do a maximum of 3, important to understand, and select up to 2, even going down further into granularity to identify specifically what your offer can do. You also, too, you would upload the required bill of materials to get to co-sell ready status. So you have a customer one-pager or a solution one-pager or something like that. You have your presentation deck and then an external URL. In addition, it's also really important to understand that the contacts per geography with which you want to sell into are in fact required in order to be considered co-sell ready. Any questions as we've gone through a lot of this? Perfect. So now let's assume that you've done all of that. What is your next step? So you would want to make sure that you review your offer. So you can review a new offer or you can review an existing offer through this entity. And you would click review before you get to publish. And then you can do a compare and contrast feature here. So if it was something that you modified, you can make sure that those modifications have sort of stuck, if you will. And then you can also then validate the information that you've entered and just double check. And then you would simply select publish and your offer then would in fact go. The last step in order to make it live is you do need to hit go live, and you can do it in 2 different places within the interface today, which we've pulled out here. And at that point, it would be considered published and it would be available. There is a little bit of a latency. It's about 6 to 8 hours for that offer to, in fact, go live into our storefronts and to the catalog here. And last but not, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to add on that the latency might be longer if you're going through the technical review first. If you're just updating the co-sell tab, it will be pretty simple in about 6 to 8 hours. But depending on how much you've changed, it might be longer.
Thank you, Megan.
Mm-hmm.
And then how would you get help or how would you learn more if you're inside Partner Center here with Commercial Marketplace? So for questions, you would simply click the question mark as you can for other topics and you would access Commercial Marketplace. Now, what this will do is it will present articles and supporting information that we believe may answer your question. That's a great resource. And again, it's always updated and on for you and you can self-solve right there. If that does not answer your question, you're still are looking for particular answers, we need you to file a support ticket, which you can do right inside here, and that will file a support ticket, and that will go to our support team. And from there, the question that you need an answer to, or the challenge you're having, will be triaged, and we will get an answer back to you as fast as we can. And then finally, before we open this up to only questions, we want to make sure that you understand what your next steps are. So we want to make sure you actively manage offers if you have them. We want you to publish new ones and keep them updated. It's really important. Sometimes bills of materials and whatnot can sit for a long time. We want to make sure that what your offer can do for the customer is up to date and available for people to understand. And then we also want to make sure that you know how to get help. So hopefully through this process, you have an understanding of that today and know how to get going. Also here, we've highlighted some resources. These do link out to those docs articles that we've spoken about, but this is a little bit more prescriptive if you're looking for something specific. And with that, I will stop presenting and we can answer questions.
Great. I don't see anything in the chat yet. There's something posted on the community. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to come off of mute and ask Kate directly.
Okay, good morning from here in Nigeria, Africa. My name is Kelechi. I work with Lotus Beta Analytics. Yeah, so I just wanted to ask if we're updating a particular IP co-cell we do it here and we publish it on this particular marketplace. Am I correct?
So let me make sure I understand your question and then I can answer it. You have a co-sell ready solution that is IP. Is that what I heard? That's most likely it has been published in OCP GTM.
Yes, it has.
Okay.
And we're doing some modification, or we have had some modifications already done on it. So I come to the marketplace and update it, correct?
So has your offer been migrated over or moved over to commercial marketplace yet? Is it an Azure
Mm.
app or a Dynamics offer?
I think it's gonna be. I think it's Azure app. Sorry, I'm not sure, but I think it's Azure apps because it's riding on Azure actually.
So I guess there's two answers to your question depending on where the phase of migrating over to commercial marketplace your solution is. So if your offer has been moved over to commercial marketplace, you or the person at your company who has the correct permissions to access it in commercial marketplace should be able to go in and modify it as we walked through that experience today. If your offer is still in OCP GTM, that is not something you can do, but you can file a support ticket to unlock that. Unless, and I'm sorry, I don't know this off the top of my head. Are you a managed partner who has a PDM? Sorry, I don't know the
Um,
answer to that question.
when you say no, managed, did you say managed partner?
Yeah, do you have a PDM who helps you?
Yes, we have. Yeah,
Okay,
Remy.
so this will be a little bit more seamless. So I would work with your PDM if your offer is still in OCP GTM, and they can help you update it to be more reflective of what your solution does today.
Okay, no problem. So because I think we're working on it. So when it's done,
Yeah,
we'll work with our PDM and to get it done. Thank you so much.
you're welcome. And then Melanie, I see you have a couple questions. Where do you add the Azure Expert MSP badge? So where do you add the Azure Expert MSP badge? So that's a great question. So the Azure, anything like a competency or a specialization or this Azure Expert MSP status, that is not something that you would add to a solution like a tag. That information is pulled through from your membership profile, for lack of a better way to explain it, and will be associated with your solution publication, either in the direct store channel as you're going to an Azure Marketplace or App Source, or it will also be flagged in the Microsoft Seller Catalog. And then another question was, oh, sorry, go ahead, Melanie.
I was just saying thank you for confirming that it's automatically pulled through.
Yeah, so the tagging of that badge is not linked to the publishing process in the sense that you don't do something later. That information comes through because it's linked to your MPN account.
So even if I achieve that status later on after publishing the solution, it will automatically pull through.
It should, yes, be automatically pulled through. So if the example I think that you're talking about here is on January 1st, you published a solution, and on February 1st, you partner gets an attainment of an Azure Expert MSP. What happens to their solution that was published on January 1st? Is that the scenario?
Yes, that's
Yeah, it should retroactivate to the solution to the solution. So that badge or indicator of that attainment should be added to the solution. And then another question was around how will partners be notified as it progresses? So great question. And actually not in the visible slides. There is actually a progression bar that moves along so they can see where they are in that process. So that's a great question and a piece of feedback for us to put into that deck so you guys can understand that.
And Kate, just in addition to the subway stops that are in the screen that shows a partner as they move through each of those sections, once the partner hits publish and the package basically goes off either for technical validation or review of the co-sell tab and the other things that have been updated. Once it does pass technical validation, then there is an email that the partner receives letting them know that they can go back and make the offer live. It's sent by the system.
Are they also partner center notifications or just email? So how does the partner get notified? Is it both through email and partner center notifications?
You mean like if they've met technical validation? You mean like a
Yeah,
step like
yeah,
that? Um,
correct.
I don't know, Brian, to put you on the spot. Do you know if there's also an email notification that goes out?
Um, the only reason I hesitate is that on the IP co-sell technical validations, I don't think that's merged into the publishing process yet. But
There is an email that goes out for them, Brian. I don't know if it's automated from Partner Center, but I've worked on the text for that email, so I know that it's there.
Awesome. So then the answer is yes. There will be emails for each of the stages. When publishing an offer through Partner Center for the commercial marketplace, there are kind of status progress bars within the UX that like light up as it progresses.
Mm-hmm.
And then emails once the offer has been approved or if action's required. And then it only goes live once they hit the go live button, and then they get notified again once it's live.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions around publishing in commercial marketplace? We couldn't possibly have answered everything yet.
It looks like that. Oh, good.
Just one more question. Sorry.
Yeah,
Regarding
okay.
the different offer types, I know that there's documentation around the different offer types, but we do find a lot of partners struggling to differentiate the different offer types. When a partner selects a specific offer type on the Partner Center UX, is there some indication as to what falls under the different offer types, or does the partner have to refer to the documentation?
So if I think I understand your question correctly, they're in the UX and they're trying to identify what offer it is, and I'm just going to use SaaS as a offer type. Is that the level you mean, or do you mean like a product?
Yes, that's what I mean, like SaaS offer types or consulting offer types.
I would definitely refer to the documentation for clearer definitions if there's any confusion. But Brian, I actually don't know if for some reason they select an accurate one, or there's a delta between understanding of what it is and what is not, what that process looks like. Is that covered in the publishing experience with that?
Yeah,
team?
so actually we updated the article, I think today, that defines the different offer types. So hopefully that's helpful. Let me just double check. I believe in the UX, there's a little information bubble that they can hover over to give them a definition.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. If there is that bubble, that would help us, because instead of the partner going back and forth with the documentation, they can hover in the UX and get that answer.
Yep, just double checking. Like literally logging into Partner Center. I think it is, but I'll check here.
I can't remember. But there is, as Brian said, there is brand new updated information with more clarity around the offer type definitions too. And I dropped that link in the window.
Thank you.
You're
Just
welcome.
a question while Brian's looking for the information. On the sales contact, so when a partner goes in and puts in the sales contact information and publishes it, and then on the MXX side, the Microsoft seller is attaching the solution, will that sales contact get the referral lead, or is it another sales contact?
Great question. Who gets the lead at the end? So hopefully the two contacts are the same is the simplest answer. Understanding that sometimes one entity of a corporation is not necessarily familiar or aware of who exactly it it should be. So hopefully the sales contact is the same person that is going to receive the referral, that they've set up their referral mechanism that way as well. If for some reason it's not, the simplest answer is the referral admin will receive the lead, as well as the global administrator will also receive the information around the lead. And Rob, keep me honest here, and as well as the sales contact that is listed under the solution that has been published in commercial marketplace.
Okay, because I think we had a case where one of our partners had an incorrect or a different email address, and that email address prevented the partner from seeing the information, but the information was in Partner Center. So
right,
it
so
looks like
yeah, so that's a great question, because that's a scenario that we've seen a lot. So because of roles and permissions are linked to tenant IDs and a couple of other things, sometimes that experience happens for the partner. So the quickest resolution is to make sure that they're logged in with the correct tenant ID in Partner Center. And it should show them when they go into Partner Center who has the correct access if their permissions are not accurate. And when in doubt, obviously file a support ticket to reconcile. Rob, do you have more to add to that?
Yeah. Sorry, I was just going to clarify one thing in terms of the notifications. So the email notifications go only to the sales contacts that you identify there as part of the solution publishing process, right? Whether you upload it through the CSV or you add them manually. Those are the people that receive the email notifications. The people that have access in Partner Center to work on those referrals may not be the same as your sales contacts, and they do not receive a notification. The referral, you don't by default receive a notification on every referral if just by having referral admin or global or account admin access. Those are the folks that have access to work on the referral. So what we're trying to do, in fact, in the coming months is improve that experience and kind of converge this publishing process and the co-selling experience. But for now, it's not every case that every partner will want to have the people receive the notification is actually going to be working on the deals. There's plenty of partners that have kind of interim qualification engines or inside sales kind of reviews where you'll further qualify those deals. And so for that reason, my recommendation is to take a look at who you're adding as sales contacts. A common pitfall, a lot of partners end up putting, their VP of sales as a global contact for every solution you've published. Well, your VP of sales will receive an email notification for every single referral that is sent to you, which typically you probably don't want. And then also just make sure that the folks that you are adding as sales contacts, if you don't have a distributed sales team and you want to actually have the people receiving the notifications, not just to be aware of them, but to actually work and qualify and end up closing the deal with the customer, please make sure that anyone you've added as a contact has referral admin access. We will, in the medium term, start to kind of provide that recommendation to you as you're adding these contacts, or even restrict the sales contacts to those that already do have referral admin access, but that'll be coming down the road. In the meantime, just while these are separate modules, please ensure that you got the right access to the folks you want working on those deals.
Rob, just a question. So on the so changing the sales contact, should that only be done at the solution level, or is there another way we can do it? Okay, because we have a partner that has multiple solutions, and we need the one person now to have access. So she has referral access, but she's logging in with a different email address. So I'm thinking that, the email address that's attached to the solution is a different one. And we have to go into each of the partners to go into each of the solutions and add this person as the sales contact in order to receive the referrals.
Well, so it depends on what you're trying to do. So if this is a one single person who will centrally manage the co-sell pipeline between this organization and Microsoft, then there's really no need for them to receive a referral notification for every single deal if they're going in daily or weekly and reviewing all of the deals and working on them, right? Maybe the sales contact, the only reason you'd have a sales contact different from your referral admin users is if you have, for example, a centralized referral admin who handles all of that, maybe inputs that information in the partner CRM system, if for whatever reason they haven't onboarded to use the REST APIs or the connectors we have for Salesforce and Dynamics. But you do want to have email addresses at the partner organization for the case when a Microsoft sales rep wants to reach out and call someone before they send a deal over. They want to say, hey, I want to understand a little bit more about this solution. That's why you have the sales contacts, as well as if you have maybe a regional manager or district manager, for example, that wants to be notified of kind of key accounts, or maybe even apply some email rules based on specific accounts where you may receive referrals, just to have visibility. They're not going to work on every single deal, but just to have visibility of, okay, that deal's coming in. Maybe let me make sure I have X person go work on that. That's why you might want to have the difference. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I think the problem here is that probably the partner has a different sales contact. So although the person that's supposed to be receiving the referrals has referral admin, when she goes into partner center, she's not seeing any leads. So
okay.
I think it's probably And then when I checked the email address that she's logging in, it's a different email address. So that's why I was wondering, where is that sales contact information? We probably need to look at adding her at the solution level.
Yeah, just to be really clear, adding her as a contact to each solution level will not mean that she will have access to see those referrals in Partner Center. It will mean she'll receive an email notification when a referral is generated. I would recommend that you have...
So she's getting that email notification, but she's not, she can't see the referral. So why is the reason that she cannot see the referrals now?
So to see referrals, you need to just have referral admin access. Which
she has that. Yeah, she has.
If it's possible, then, so we're getting into maybe a bit of a corner case, but it's possible that if the partner organization has more than one MPN ID or more than one tenant, as Kate was describing earlier, maybe she has access to one tenant and not another. This is possible due to recent mergers and acquisitions. And so what I'd recommend in this case is to log a support ticket using the question mark at the top right of Partner Center. And identify, hey, even call out, here's the specific email, here's the specific customer account, and the link in that email has the referral ID. You can say, hey, where is this referral ID? And they can chase that down for you and identify, okay, who's the account admin or global admin who can give that resource the right access they need, or even provide a recommendation.
So we'll wait for the response from support.
Yeah.
Gotcha. They might even recommend to merge those two MPN IDs or those two Partner Center accounts. Which might be able to simplify it for you.
Okay, sounds good.
Any additional questions? We still have a couple minutes. All right, Keisha, go ahead.
Yeah, that was great. I love the difference between the session earlier today and this session, and the ability to go deep into these questions. I'm sure that's going to really help those partners who are viewing this on demand later. Thank you so much to our experts for answering the questions. Thank you, partners, for joining and asking very good, thoughtful, specific questions that can be helpful to yourself, your organization, also to other partners. With that, I will go ahead and conclude this recording, and we'll be back next month for the next edition in this co-sell and referrals series. So thanks so much, everybody, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good morning once more.